Hey everyone, welcome back, and thanks for dropping by. I wanted to bring you a bit of an update about my Patreon stuff. So the other day I have realized, although it should have been obvious, that most of my viewers on YouTube are actually game developers. People who have seen my tutorials and subscribed to me, or people who have seen me working on the games, tend to be game developers and programmers and single-man development teams, people working on their own games. So I figured I would add perks that are relevant to that on my Patreon. So instead of doing some, sticker or art, I would add, I figured I'd add something that is relevant to you as a game developer. So what I decided to do is add two perks. So the first one is my music. This is more of a general one, but I figured it kind of belongs here. If you hear any sort of music that you like while you're listening to my live stream, you can use this perk. You can give me a timestamp in the video, in the live stream, or a reference, or if you find a link in one of the albums, or find a track in one of the albums, you can send it to me, and I will send you the track as a little thank you. So this is kind of a straightforward one, but the one that I'm most excited about, this one, custom soundtrack. So I write music. I've been writing music for the past 10, almost 11 years. I know how difficult it is to get into sound and music as a game developer when you originally started with art or programming. I started with music before, way before I got into game development. So I figured while I have the free time, I would offer the service to write music for your game project, for your film, short film, movie, whatever project it is. You can send me references or descriptions, or if you hear something that you like, you can send me those examples and I'll work something out for you. So with this particular perk, the terms are fairly simple. All I'm asking as a composer is the right to sell the music on my website and show it as a portfolio. This is a pretty standard thing that any composer will ask. This particular perk realistically will give me the excuse to work on my music portfolio and grow the list of something to show when I do get some bigger opportunity to write music for a bigger project. But in this case, I got into game development because I wanted to write music for games or for film, and I got into game development because my own projects actually seemed like they would take me much faster to that step where I would start writing music. A lot of the projects that I kind of got on board with got canceled or got shelved, and now as a game developer I can kind of relate to that because it's difficult, it takes a while. But I figured if you have a project you need music for, and you're willing to support me on Patreon, this is just a one-time thing, by the way, I would go ahead and be glad to write music for the project, grow my portfolio, and have something to show for. And you get some professionally done music, and you don't have to kind of go into the whole trade and learning mixing and mastering, synthesis work, composing, all that stuff. So, with that being said, if you do become a Patreon, I really appreciate it. I'm actually gonna I have somebody to thank for becoming a patron after I posted the initial announcement on this. So I figured I would call the gentleman out and thank them for becoming a patron. In the meantime, as I said, if you want to become a patron, it really helps me. If I can slowly kind of get Patreon to replace my part-time job, then, or at least replace most of the time I usually spend on the part-time job, then that would be even better, because then I can spend more time programming and making games. And to be honest, I live on some bare minimum necessities. So for the most part, I could find ways to get by. So the gentleman I wanted to call out is Mr. Thomas Said. Thank you very much for following. Thank you very much for becoming a patron. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video or live stream. Have a good one. In my case, I just want to retain one single... I swear fuck I got. Why does somebody need to be stabbed or have a heart attack in the middle of me doing this video? And this take was going so well. This take was going so well. How dare they be stabbed and bleeding to death and having a heart attack?